Okay, there we go. So, hello, everybody. My name is Ulfgarður, and as usual, I have mild to moderate technical difficulties. Um, sorry about that. I had my headset unmuted, but OBS was a little silly about where it thought the sound was coming from. So, welcome back, everybody. We had a couple weeks delay because just life happens. Unfortunately, sometimes last minute. But classical stream, yes, indeed. Thank you, Bogue. It is so incredibly true. But Bogue, it's good to see you, buddy. Um, yeah, it's. I was trying to think of if you and me had figured out a time to turn on a game and catch up. I don't think we did, but we'll we'll get there. Um, but yeah, we're excited to be back. Play some more D&D for you. Get into shenanigans. Um, a lot of things happened over the last 2 weeks between the last time we streamed and today. Uh, it wasn't actually all that much. I did go to Kansas. That was good. I went to Kansas for my cousin's wedding, which was a ton of fun. I got to see a lot of extended family that I haven't seen some of them for like a decade, quite literally a decade. So it was a good time. A lot of driving, pretty quick trip, but my dad and I road tripped down and had a great time. Got to visit some staples from my childhood when we would go down and see his parents in Kansas for like family Christmas and stuff. So it was, got to hit some good nostalgia stops along the way. But you're not here to hear about that. You're here about what our goofy, angsty cast of mismatched adventurers is up to. So let's find out. One thing that did happen during the 2 weeks in between um, was there was a little bit of RP for the characters and between the characters that happened privately in Discord. You guys didn't miss anything significant. That is one way I will probably continue to try and keep some of the momentum of events going in the future if we have extended breaks between sessions like that. And if anything important happens, we've all we've all talked about essentially just kind of rereading what you missed and kind of treating it like a script and RP acting it out on camera for you. Well, not on camera, but on stream for you. But this time around, there wasn't anything super important. Everybody's just been interacting, helping Tenth get his stuff packed up and ready to send them back to Aerith with uh, pieces of his siblings, which is a weird sentence to say if you don't know what I'm talking about. It probably sounds awful weird to you too. Um, but just go back and watch a couple episodes. It'll make sense. I promise. It's not as messed up as it sounds. Um, yeah. Yeah, if you don't know where to go, just go to YouTube, Ulfgarður TTV. This whole campaign has its own playlist on there, so you can watch it in order. I'm so far behind on lore. Well, Bogue, that's okay. You can go catch up on YouTube when you have time. Put it on in the background or something. The main things to know, I suppose, going into this are they found the thing they were looking for. They found the thing they were hired to find down in those ruins underground, and it got stolen from them. So they're going back empty-handed. They have made it back to the lab of tenth Hurikson, the first of his kind, the fabricated man. And they had promised him on the way through that if he was still there when they got back, they would help him take pieces of his siblings back to the city of Aerith above ground, which is a few days away. Um, it's prime mushroom and bass. That's true. It is. I'll be caught up by winter. Fair enough. Well, it's all in one place for you when you're ready. But they promised this guy that they'd help take the pieces of his siblings back to his father, the guy who assembled and animated this guy. Because in 5e parlance, if you know D&D 5e decently, he is the world's first Warforged, which is a playable species that is just constructs. They have full mind, full thought, but they are an inorganic creature. And he is the first, so he's sending pieces of what were intended to be his siblings back to see if his father can make any more. And they made some promises to some goblins. They may or may not make it to the goblins this time, but they're headed back up in that direction to go try and resolve this job because the person they were supposed to meet by this point would have been waiting for them to buy the thing that they were supposed to find. So they have to go back and hope they're still there to explain everything that happened. Rogue AI, Age of Ultron. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The scale of production isn't quite there yet, but who knows? But that said, I think everybody's more or less caught up, so let's get back to the game. I will. It may take me a second to figure out the audio settings if it does the same thing for them that it did for me. So bear with me a moment if that's the case. But without further ado, let's get back into Yvardsaga. Okay, so far, so maybe. Okay, can y'all still hear me? Let's see. Let's test audio. Hi, friends. Hello. Okay. Um, so I had an audio issue at first in OBS where even though the stream thing wasn't being super goofy, more or less, I'm not sure if your audio is coming through on stream. So if y'all could say something so chat could let us know. Or if one of y'all has the window pulled up, if you can hear yourselves talk. Thank you, Pez. You're so helpful. Hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Okay. Let's see. Up, 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 up. Oh, that's why. It's because we're in the wrong VC. We're in the
Oh.
waiting room.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's why. I figured it out.
Hello.
Hooray!
Okay.
Pez needs to jump over.
Yep. Yep. Just making sure it up. No.
Hmm?
Oh no, I broke Pez's Discord apparently.
Oh
Oh.
no.
Another classic Ulf stream moment. Thanks, Bogue. Oh,
Man as strong as the Cyberman says what?
What?
Am I back?
you are.
That gets him.
Okay.
Okay, everybody good? As far as I can tell, everything looks right. So, I think
Well,
we're
I wouldn't
ready.
say I'm good, but I think audio is figured out for me.
Touche. Touche. Big mood. Big mood. All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome. He tried to silence me. Yeah, sure, that's totally it, Pez. All right, friends. The map is not entirely accurate to where we had left off in our text RP. There wasn't anything super crazy major that happened in the text RP, so I'm not too worried about recapping that. Essentially, you are all involved with assisting 10th and Pressure in the assorted rooms of this place, getting ready to depart. Oh, right, that stupid fucking door. All right,
I'll just dance here.
All right, hold on.
No, I'm impatient.
That's too damn bad, bud. You are
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
struggle later in this campaign. Or I guess early on. Later on is when the answers come. It's the early part that's a struggle. Because that's when you
We
don't
get
have
that.
answers. There we go. So, you guys were down in here helping your friends get ready for transporting more of 10th's siblings, or at least parts of them, into any containers you could manage to get and brought back to Aerith. And it's been a process. You were also able to help find some improvised ways to preserve some of the like research notes that couldn't necessarily be brought back this time because there are quite a few of them. But you were also able to take a rest, whether you wanted that to be short or long. You have the opportunity here after your fight. Um, yeah, it's the ball's kind of in your court. Not sure what you want to do, except I believe the only thing really critical was figuring out how much of this stuff you could actually take with you. And also, you guys can confirm everybody leveled up since last time.
We are level 4. Which,
And a half.
yeah, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah, there was some confusion at the end of last session about how much XP these guys had earned up to this point in the campaign, and surprise, they not only leveled up, they got halfway to the next level. Sorry. Sorry it took so long.
No, that means we completed that last battle with a handicap and still kicked butt.
Fair.
I don't know whose ass you're talking about.
But yeah, you guys would have the ability to get your rest before, during, after your attempts at packing. So all of your health, your spell slots, any of your other limited use abilities, unless they are limited by the day specifically, which I don't think any of you have, uh, should all be back at maximum capacity.
Woohoo!
But so as I described and kind of set the scene in the text RP between sessions, 10th's method of preparing all of this stuff for transport has been a little bit hard to track because he has several different containers that are not uniform in size or shape, that it's not like this is for one part or like one type of piece. This is for, a plate that might become a mask or a helmet for one of the siblings. It's just random bits of odds and ends, and not even like structural pieces, but also like that might be a component in whatever enchantments need to happen for creating a sibling and bringing them to life. So it's just random bits of odds and ends, but him and Pressure seem to understand intrinsically what's in each one and some method that hasn't really been laid out to you guys. But he also has some other stuff off to the side that's more like, okay, this is where all the papers and research notes go. This is where other sorts of components and materials that don't seem structural for creating a sibling, those seem to go over there if they don't qualify for the other boxes. So it's a bit hard to track, but any assistance you give, they're incredibly patient and appreciative in being able to ask, uh, and you guys being able to ask, where does this go? I don't know what this is. They don't necessarily explain what everything is, but they'll tell you where it needs to be in the process of helping. But at the same time, while you guys rest and catch your breath, you saved their lives in the last session. Very definitively. Like, 10th almost fucking died pretty quick after you guys got there. So they aren't going to pressure you to help any more than you volunteer to. You guys can absolutely just rest, catch your breath, eat some food. It would be whatever food you have on you. They don't have any here because you don't know what Pressure eats, if Pressure eats, but you've never seen him eat. 10th certainly doesn't need to eat. So any food you find down in here is probably uh, sketchy at best in its safety. But yeah, I guess to start, would you guys want to spend just a short rest or a long rest? You got here, I believe, timeline-wise, if I remember correctly, you got here after roughly midday since the last time you woke up, regardless of how that equates above ground. But you were essentially awake and traveling for half a day after waking up. So you could continue on, you could stay down here.
I'd like it if we did a long rest.
Yeah.
That makes everything easiest with a level up as well.
It might take that long for us to pack everything and sort everything anyway.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you definitely can. So you're able to, whether it's all at once or kind of in shifts, you'd be able to lay out your bedrolls. There aren't really any beds or cots here anywhere, but you knew that last time. So you'd still be able to lay down and get a pretty easy good night's sleep and wake up in the morning. There's still a lot to be done, but 10th and Pressure would have made a pretty good dent on it overnight while you guys were sleeping. They don't seem like they have to sleep on the same restrictions as you guys do in order to be able to function. You learned last time that 10th, he doesn't sleep, but he kind of goes into a similar sort of standby state to when an elf goes into a trance, where they only have to rest for about 4 hours instead of the 8 most sleeping folks have to take to be healthy. So he's able to keep working a lot longer through the night than the rest of you. Pressure, you've never actually seen or heard Pressure talk about being at rest. It seems like Pressure's just always kind of putzing about. But yeah, you wake up in the morning, you can have your breakfast. Is there any particular interactions you would want to have with them? Or otherwise I can prompt progression, but I want to give you guys the chance before we move on.
Yeji is just going to be working very intensely with them to figure out how much she can take, what's the most important, etc.
Okay.
Because to go into the bag, it has to be 2 feet or less in like any dimension, because it's only 2 feet with diameter to get into the bag.
Okay.
And can't be more than 500 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, when are we gonna split up the loot?
When we get back.
Got one bag of holding into another. What loot?
No!
Oh my gosh. Chat, for those of you who don't know, in D&D, it is officially a rule if you have 2 bags of holding and shove one inside of each other, or a similar sort of magical storage bag, it creates a black hole, so everything around fucking just dies and gets destroyed. So that's
There
the joke
is
we
no
make about
loot.
that. But hey, if you need a tactical nuke ever, it's handy to have somebody that has 2 bags of holding.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think Cole was going to tackle just working on properly preparing and making sure the parchments stayed dry with his plan of sealing the using the waxed canvas, kind of melting onto the end of the pipes, driving out all the moisture with a warm pipe, and then sealing the other end best he could.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a process, but especially you guys staying to take a long rest, you can knock a lot of it out. That's something Ron feels more comfortable helping with. So you and Ron can work on that. He's pretty... he's not necessarily, like, uncertain, but he's very deliberate about it. He doesn't seem like he's super concerned if he messes something up, but at the same time, he seems to understand how important it is to keep a lot of this stuff safe. So, and you guys seem to care about it, so he tries to do a decent job.
Respect.
We're gonna have to give Ron such a big tip when we get out of this. He has just been a trooper.
No, you'll find out. But you're gonna find out.
Nemo has plans.
What are you talking about, Nemo?
Nemo's just gonna kill him right before we exit. Don't worry about it.
Three-way split.
No, never. But yeah.
Well, Nemo doesn't want to do that. They told Nemo to. Do
It's just
it.
the they told Nemo to.
Exactly.
The voices.
The voices. Um. Okay, so while you guys are busy working on these assorted things, Yejaye, you and Tenth, after you wake up, work on actually getting stuff closed up and packaged, explaining what the dimensions are to him and how a bag of holding works. It seems that is something he has never really encountered or heard of before, so it's an entirely new concept. But once he understands it, he seems to get a pretty good idea of what you guys can take in the bag. There are a couple pieces he requests you take that won't fit, but they'll strap on. They're essentially just kind of rounded sheets of metal. Not like a big, huge thing, but like mostly a couple of them are longer than 2 feet, but only maybe by a foot. So there's stuff that could be strapped onto the side or the back of a backpack.
Which I can only assume a Yejier will be the one carrying.
Uh, Ron can also carry it
That's true.
if a Yejier doesn't want to. But you can take two of these. They're not all actually like boxes or crates, as far as these containers full of randomly categorized items, but you'd be able to get two of them in your bag of holding, plus some kind of loose odds and ends to fill in the remaining space.
Yeah.
But you would come out of there with an entirely full bag of holding, full of nothing but stuff from this lab. Because if I remember right, one of them is still essentially empty, isn't it?
Yeah, she made one just for this. The one that
That's
we
what I
ripped,
thought.
she remade.
Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, you'd be able to get packed up and prepared. Any other questions or concerns you would have for them before hitting the road? Because Ron seems to be pretty eager to get the hell out of here. Not necessarily as a, like, he feels unsafe, but you're on the return journey home. He seems like he's about ready to be home. But he'll stay down here as long as you guys want.
He wants to go before the next wave of crazy shit happens.
And we're on a bit of a time crunch.
True.
Yeah.
I think we're still doing well for time.
We got a couple more days left.
Yeah, you should have, if your estimations are correct, you should have 2 days left before your contact leaves Darbiton.
Nemo's been keeping count.
But yeah,
Off we go.
anything else? No?
I'm just trying to think. Uh, Pez, do you have the brain brew for us to have our campfire talk now, or is that something we're gonna have to like talk through later?
It'll probably be later.
Okay.
I barely have brain goo. Sorry, I wasn't on Discord with brain goo.
No, I completely understand. It's just I feel like that's important for Cole and Iogier to hash some things out before we get back to town.
That's fair.
Because otherwise, I foresee a few issues. Um, so I do think I want to either in tech space or I don't know next session or something have some of that dialogue.
Yes. I think I will probably have the brain for it this week as opposed to last week when my parents were here and everything.
Yeah, no problem. But just so chat knows, campfire scene and an attempt at negotiations and is in the works.
Yeah. Yeah. Try.
Yeah, she's just gonna put wax in her ears.
I believe an attempt, if I recall correctly, this is going to be kind of a continuation of, or a result of trying to still kind of work over how things went in the room when you guys had Varkon held captive, and it was being
Yeah,
debated whether or not to kill him or let him go.
yeah.
In the room where it happened.
Nice. Thank you, Pez. Um, yes, because that got heated in a very, very good uh, role-playing way, not between players themselves. But
Up
I
says
used up
you.
all of my brain juice, and then I couldn't do anything for 16 days.
fair, fair. That does happen. It's a big mood. Um, but yeah, no other questions for 10th or pressure about anything down here? Anything you saw on your adventures before heading out? Potentially, this might be your last chance to talk to them for a while, unless you come back down here.
Oh, they're not coming with us?
No, they're staying and still working on getting stuff secured and put away.
Oh.
Um,
That's why 10th had asked you to go deliver this stuff to Arif. Um, because it would get there sooner than if he took it with him when he leaves.
yeah. I guess we didn't have much time to talk um, as we were fighting, but I'd like to touch base with 10th. So after they've been packing up and things, Cole will approach. So do you know those invaders? And he'll point at weapons and bloodstains. Do you know what they were, who they are, what they wanted?
Not at all. I've never seen anything like them before. I would assume then
Did
that you also don't know.
uh, I'm assuming. Yeah, I guess Ulf would call know what those were. I don't know
Certainly
that I
not off the
would.
top of your head.
Yeah.
You could try and make a check to see if you would know anything about them. It would probably be a harder one, but in theory, it's possible.
How would that be a
Uh,
nature?
that could be a nature, that could be an arcana, a religion, any of those sort of intellectual checks, depending on what you would want to learn or how you think you might best be able to pull up information relevant to what you saw.
Uh,
That would be entirely up to you.
yeah. I'm gonna do an Arcana check using the bright flash as they disappeared, because that is certainly not something of the mundane. Just gonna see if that triggers anything in his recollections. Oh. Oh, damn.
So thinking about it in that light, particularly in that light, um, particularly remembering that Ron had said going in that they were some kind of fey creature.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
nothing you have ever dealt with personally, but you remember hearing stories, both more like kind of bedtime stories as a kid, but also uh, very kind of vague things that didn't seem like it at the time, accounts of jobs some of your professional peers have done that may or may not have interacted with these things, but you recognize that the flash and the description of both their size and how they were fighting sounds an awful lot like a kind of fey creature called a darkling. I'll put it in chat for you. Just dark, like youngling, but dark. Um, where that's just kind of what happens when they die is something about that they avoid the light as much as possible, like any kind of light source, and something about that flash when they die has to do with light from like light that they've encountered in their life, whether it stores up inside them or they find a way to channel it, but something weird like that, where the amount of light that comes out of one when it dies is something significant. And the fact that they just leave no trace of their existence, that, a lot of creatures from other planes of existence, when they come into the material plane, or pretty much anyone that isn't where they're from, a lot of them tend, if they get killed, to just return home, and their bodies just kind of disintegrate into dust wherever they were killed on a different plane of existence. Darklings, you're pretty sure don't do that. They're just dead.
Hmm.
So far
So
as so far as you can recall from stories you've heard.
Yep.
But they're a very scary thing to hear bedtime stories about as a kid. They're very much like a deterrent for don't go out and play in the streets or in the alleys in any of the big cities after dark, because despite all the other dangers, maybe the darklings will find you. Also, maybe if you don't eat your broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole was ever
I
a child? Question mark.
no. No, legit, I'm thinking of something because if it's a childhood story, if that would bring up a memory for Cole and how he might react to that.
It very well might.
Um No, that is oh, how do I want to do that?
Uh, if it's what I'm thinking it might be, I feel like you'd get the gist if I ask it. Would it make sense for you to make a con save?
Ooh, yes.
Okay.
I love making con saves for backstory reasons.
That worked so well last time.
Hi, Hobie.
Oh no!
Oh boy. Oh boy. One
Ooh,
sec. I
oh
have
no.
We just
Hobie
like
cuddling.
trauma, okay?
We're all here for the trauma.
We love
Mentally
SPS.
stable, unfazed, happy people are not a great basis for storytelling. I'll say it now. Happy people don't make for good stories. There, I said it. Hot
You heard
take.
it here,
Hot take of
folks.
the day. Hill I will die on. Um, yeah, yeah, Cole. No, that definitely dredges some stuff up. I trust you to determine how that manifests for you. I won't describe your own response to that, but that's definitely a fail on that on on that save, knowing at least vaguely what it is you had in mind.
Yeah. Um, so I think I'm gonna handle this. Um, just kind of thinking through it. Um, Ron said he felt that they were fey creatures, and I have heard of ones that kind of burst into light like that when they die. I think darklings is what they were called. They they were It's almost things you tell your kids. That they're gonna get them in the night if they don't behave. And Cole's gonna slow way down as he says that last bit. After he had like a slight smirk halfway through, and at that point he just gonna look at the ground, and luckily 10th is not socially inept, so Cole is just gonna walk out of the room. He needs some alone time. And he's gonna do that pretty quick, so yeah. And then just and then he's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna walk out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yejier, Nemo, any response to Cole abruptly leaving in the middle of a mild form of some kind of answers?
Sneak.
But
Sneak.
I was gonna say just some maybe like a perception-y thing to try to figure out if I could tell he remembered something or was disturbed by something.
I would say that sounds to me more like an insight check.
That one, yeah. I don't use my brain. What
That's
are you
fair.
doing? Sorry, Cat, not any
He's
of you.
he's just walking around because the girls aren't out and he's hungry forever.
I am going to assume
Ye-
Aegier watches him go and goes, "Ah, yes, just like me, he suddenly got an idea for something before finishing his thought and had to go attend to it immediately."
That tracks.
Eureka!
Yeah.
Just was talking and suddenly petered out, and ah, yes, he thought of an egg pattern.
Egg. Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption for that result. Nemo, anything for you, or are you just gonna let him go?
I would like to say Nemo knows when someone's about to have an episode.
Decently.
But
Does she?
but we could also let that be.
If you would
Uh,
like,
Depends on
you
how
could.
nosy Nemo wants to be.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could make an
Huh?
insight check if you would want. Otherwise, I would default to y'all's passive insight for whether or not you would notice. But I wanted to give you the chance to decide if you wanted to try.
I'll roll for it. Why not?
Say my passive's not much better than what I rolled, so
Okay. Hey,
Oh.
we're
okay.
slowly crawling up there, guys.
Yeah.
I'd say it definitely looked like something popped into mind, not necessarily something super distressing, except for the fact he did just kind of leave in the middle of a thought, which I feel like at this point, I feel like at this point, Nemo, you would get at least kind of a sense of that's probably not a thing you've noticed him doing a ton. So that might be an indicator of something at least being mildly upsetting. So there might be something wrong, there might not.
Yeah.
So up to you if you choose to try and explore it.
Yeah. She could always try one. What's the worst he can do?
Fair enough. You guys did just level up, so who knows?
the one thing you know about Cole, just for certain, is he
Trauma.
will shoot first and answer
Ask
or ask
questions
questions later. He starts with a firebolt.
Not
Okay.
not every time, but like a lot
That
of
is
the
your
time.
default.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, but not every time. Mostly.
It goes against your coding to not do that first.
Nemo's fire resistant. She'll be okay for the most part. But yeah, whichever I thing anymore. So she'll I I think she will creep up behind him first. And like, did he disappear behind a wall or something?
Cole exited out the broken wall where we entered.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's as far as you would know. So if you would want to like creep up on him, I'd say you would probably have to make a stealth.
Well, Ulf, you see where I'm at, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. So that is where I want to be.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
I guess yeah, Nemo, you can go until you can see him. You wouldn't need to
Yeah.
stealth up on him super hard. But I suppose once you're able to see him, if you would want to approach any further than that beyond notice, I would say probably make a stealth check. Otherwise, you could just walk up to him.
Yeah. So Nemo, you see Cole, just kind of squatting down, just kind of staring at the water go by. Just I'm trying to think of the right term for it. Like his arms are crossed. Just looks kind of deep in thought, or maybe not thinking at all, just watching the water move. Kind of huddled in on himself.
I guess she'll ask him if he's okay in Infernal.
uh, he's not gonna move, but he'll respond. Will be. Back in Infernal. But other than that, no reaction.
I understand. I was told to go to my room and I got emotional too.
um,
Nemo's far more casual trauma.
so Nemo, did you say that?
Yeah.
So as he say that, Cole's gonna tip his head down. So he's not so much looking at the water so much as like putting his head in his hands and his hands kind of resting on his knees.
Wait, is he like hunched over?
Basically at this point, he just kind of plops down on his butt
Ah,
and just kind of sits down, and butt and knees or butt and feet on the ground, kind of knees up, elbows on knees.
Distraught at the
oh.
beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I do that too. And I was told to go to your room. Do you want a buddy?
No dramatic princess throwing yourself on a chase lounge.
Show me where the nearest chase lounge is.
the Disney princess cry.
And Cole's gonna repeat, "No, I'll be all right."
Okay. Like, I don't know what to do.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure there's nothing I could do to help?
Oh, Nemo, I really wish you'd say one specific thing, but I can't lead you into it.
Don't do it.
One specific thing is just kicking him into the river.
No, but I think Ulf is catching the drift of what what where I'm thinking.
I know
But
I
if
should, but I'm drawing a blank on it in the moment. But that's okay.
well,
That's
Yeah,
okay.
no,
Nemo's trying.
yeah, Nemo's trying.
We might get there.
Yeah, and
Oh,
just
I think I know.
yeah, yeah, there you go. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yep.
So if like she says like one or two more things, I think Cole would have a more of a reaction, but he's still trying to remain
Suppress.
composed.
Conceal, don't feel.
Exactly. Don't let them know.
Greet the world with open arms.
No, don't let them
Okay.
know.
Oh no, Cole is Polites.
No, no, he's the opposite. He's Elsa.
You right.
Yeah,
You right.
Conceal, don't feel.
yeah. She just. Um. Well, if he's not telling her to fuck off, then I guess she'll um sit next to him.
Okay.
She's going in the direction of distraction, so she'll be like, "Can you swim?"
Threatening.
Thank you. I was gonna move her.
No, all good.
It doesn't move when she sits down next to him,
Oh, cool.
or when she asks the question. He's gonna just kind of be silent and go, barely.
Well, that's something I can't.
A bit surprised at that.
Why?
You seem traveled enough. I'd expect you've encountered water and needed to be prepared.
I have wings. Also, living near the sea doesn't mean everybody technically knows how to swim.
Yeah, he cracks a smile when you say you got wings.
Mm.
What's the deal with those anyway?
Why are your ears too big for your head?
He's gonna lift his head up and kind of turn over, looking at Nemo like, what?
Not
Excuse
funny.
me?
Not funny.
I'm not.
No.
I just. Everyone has ears. Not everyone has wings.
Not everybody shoots fire out their hands.
Cole's gonna lift his hands up, kind of spread them and look at him in front of himself. No. People seem to specialize those for many different things.
Hmm.
He's gonna kind of grip his fingers closed into fists and then kind of sit back up a little straighter, looking kind of back out over the water again. I'm gonna see if Cole has. Yeah, he's breathing a little better.
Yay. Insulting him hurts.
Woohoo!
So you want to talk about your episode just now or no?
Cole's gonna glance at her and then kind of look back at the water. I don't know if that'd be wise.
Well, maybe if you talk about that, I'll talk about my wings.
Ooh. This is why you're both in the pact.
Yeah. You don't get anything for nothing.
Exactly. Cole will muddle things for a second before kind of leaning back, kind of putting his hands behind him so he can kind of look a little more up as he's thinking. I was unexpectedly remembered a story of those darklings from my childhood.
Oh shit, you're actually talking about it. Wait right here. Let me go get it.
Do you say that?
Yeah. She's like, wait, hold on.
I was not prepared.
I didn't think you'd take the deal.
Yeah. And he's Cole's gonna ignore that. Whether he heard it or he's lost in thought. That's for Nemo to decide. But I was not prepared for the memory that came right now. Where would that frame of reference? He's gonna glance over. That good enough?
She shrugs. Get it from good trade.
Well, I didn't hear what you'd said.
Oh. So she like shrugs and she's like, I guess that was the story.
Mm-hmm.
And she shrugs. I get them from my dad.
Cole nod. Fair enough. Did he look more like us or somebody else?
I never knew him.
That seems to happen a lot.
You know?
So, for those who don't know, when Nemo and I were talking about our character, Arad and I were talking about our characters, there was the joke that we were related. In this moment, just
Oh
feels
fuck, I forgot about that.
Next quest line: find your father.
It could happen.
um. So, yeah, Cole kind of say that, kind of nodding nonchalantly. That's not too uncommon.
Yeah. At this point, you started to wonder if it's like a prerequisite.
Cole shrugs.
Cool.
With all the things that move in the land, wars, trade, slaves, all the moving pieces, families get disrupted easy.
Yeah. I think
Cole's
Yoshi
gonna.
still has her parents.
She can count herself lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Cole's just gonna point a thumb at himself. I think I got this from my dad.
Your mom's not.
She wasn't.
Oh. Nice. What was she? Wait. Was? I'm so sorry.
Hey Cole, make a con save.
Oh, God.
Time for the
Oh.
once per session Nemo
Yes!
damaging Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got that, Nemo. We got
Possum.
That's what I was fucking waiting for,
celebrating the
Red.
fact that his character is falling apart.
No, we get fucking backstory now.
Woohoo!
And I'm so glad we were able to get here.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, I assume you would also be on the same page, Possum, is complete breakdown.
Yup.
Yup.
Uh,
Oh
Good
god.
job,
The next
Nemo.
thing
We're,
Nemo knows, she's trying to keep Cole from jumping into the river.
yeah. Yeah, we are just straight back, head forward, and we're just gonna start sobbing.
Oh, oh.
That was a perfect nat one.
Yeah, it was. That was freaking
Oh my god.
perfect.
It knows.
And Ulf, I was reaching over to click as soon as but like before you even said things, I was like, "Ooh, she asked a question."
Yep.
Oh my god. So he is broken down, just kind of inconsolable. Nemo, you hit a button. How dare you?
Oh no.
But he's gonna do everything he can to try and suppress it, but it's coming, and
Oh,
he's gonna be going through it for a little while.
is there a check that I can roll to see if she could help him through it?
I would say
I would
probably
think
another
so.
insight, unless you could convince me of something else.
Survival.
Survival.
I could
uh,
honestly, I could maybe see medicine more as like
medicine.
a mental wellness kind of lens to a medicine check.
Even like knowing the biomedical ways to calm someone's nervous system.
Yeah. Or honestly, yes, survival. I could genuinely see survival.
Oh.
Just attack roll to grapple, put him to sleep.
I was like,
I think that's one way to distract.
could we do like a charisma? In like a way, like she again, like what she was doing with the distraction, she kind of like started leading him away from it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, let's call that a persuasion then, trying to steer a conversation to or from certain topics. Yeah, that makes enough sense to me. Go for it.
okay. Oh.
Oh.
Whoa. Yeah, take it away.
uh, uh, I can't come up with the dialogue right now, but
That's fair. That's fair.
but Nima has her own experience dealing with her own mental breakdowns. Um, so very much like how in the beginning of this conversation, she was just trying to lead him away from thinking of the bad things and try to get him to engage in the conversation that is literally anything else. um, so yeah.
Uh,
Uh, do
uh,
you
Ulf.
like cats?
for
So,
for what it's
distraction
worth,
tactic works, I guess.
so I think the way that I would just try and interpret this as a DM to give you some sort of, I don't know, a way to try and sort of transition so it's not just Nemo randomly throwing out, "Do you
Yeah.
like cats?" Even though I fully believe that is and would be what Nemo would do. Um, is just by having Nemo's presence there and not having her just get up and abandon you to, sort through your own shit. and the fact that even if she very abruptly and sharply changes the topic, between the fact that she is still there and still trying to engage with you, that I feel like with that persuasion check, like it would be fairly apparent to you that she is attempting to show some kind of support and be supportive, even if it's not necessarily the kind of support Cole would want. You would be able to appreciate what she's attempting, and with that
I'm thinking
result for
turning from a sob into like a crying laugh
pretty much, yeah, that's kind of
with
what I
just
was
that non
thinking.
sequitur.
Just that absolute, yeah. Uh, you like cats? And just the absolute just absurdity that that would be somebody's response to being in her shoes. It's just funny. Like there's no other response that your system can figure out but to laugh at it a bit. Particularly after Nemo had dropped that bit in the RP chat about uh, making comedy gold.
Yes.
She was coming out here because she is salty. Cole didn't laugh harder. Hey,
Uh,
mister.
but also just you would I would say as part of that you do get the sense of Nemo is in her way expressing an attempt at being a supportive, at least colleague if not friend. But like you would be able to feel uh just a little bit closer with Nemo from it because she took the time.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if chat can see that.
Yeah, they can.
Uh,
They should be able to. Yeah.
okay.
Cole will remember that.
So yeah, he's gonna kind of break into laughing and kind of slowly kind of pull himself back and just gonna go, yeah, I do. I like a lot of animals. And after a little bit, I'm assuming we can kind of we got through the part that I wanted, so I think we can kind of push this a little faster,
It's up to you.
if that's all
I
right with you, Nemo.
Yeah.
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 But after a few minutes of kind of banter, just eventually Cole's able to kind of take a few big deep breaths and all right. Finishes kind of wiping his face. Um, his skin's already red, so I'm not sure how puffy red eyes will affect his appearance, but he can get over that.
It'd be a
But
little harder to see, but there'd still be ways
yeah,
to see it.
Puffy eyes will still be noticeable.
Yeah.
yeah,
A little discolored
but
somehow.
yeah. Uh, he's gonna clap Nemo on the near shoulder. Um,
Mm.
not hard, but physical contact, yes. Unless you are gonna try and roll the dodge.
Nemo
She
bursts
does
into
like
tears.
noticeably like uh there would be like a split second where she like resists it for like she didn't want it. But like, oh, okay.
Um,
Friends.
okay, stick it out. Um, thanks. I I appreciate you trying to help. That means quite a bit.
Yeah, no problem. Now, are we trying to keep this between us?
Cole's gonna stand up and kind of brush himself off. I'd really prefer that.
I want a honey cake then.
When we get back to town, I can make that.
No, not from here. Their bakery sucks.
Taking inspiration, Nemo.
Cole's gonna nod. Understood.
Never in Garrett. I will take you to all the good eats. Just don't ever offer me anything from here.
Whatever you say.
Mhm.
And he's gonna chuckle again. And we can head back into the room now. But Cole is now being blackmailed, but he's not too upset about it.
Hey, be grateful she's only asking for a pastry.
Exactly.
Especially knowing she's in the pack, she could ask for way more.
Exactly.
What you don't know is that that's just actually code for something else.
Yeah.
You didn't ask the clarifying questions.
It's just some weird city-specific thieves can't. Okay. Oh, that was good. That was fantastic. Thank you both for that quality RP. Oh God, Rad, that almost made me cry laughing. was I was not expecting that, and I was not expecting that pull from like one sentence of text RP so long ago, before the campaign even started, as I was getting you guys set up, that Nemo would have been unimpressed by the stuff in Darbit.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
thank
deep cut. We
it.
love those.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it truly is. I think as you guys are getting back in, Yejier, did you have anything you would want to be actively discussing or questioning with 10th, or just still kind of figuring out the packing in process?
Unfortunately, because 10th is so new to life, 10th does not have a lot of knowledge.
Fair?
Like, 10th has knowledge that I'm sure Yejier doesn't have. 10th has been reading all these books. So she'll, of course, bring up the mind rot with 10th, but if he doesn't know anything about it, she'll pretty much just stick to packing and who to go see and how to get this to them and
You bring it up, and he just kind of responds as you'd expect. You know, just, After Nemo leaves the room and is out chatting with Cole for a minute, he walks back over to you and taps your shoulder. And he says, I may know someone you can ask about this mind rot.
book is instantly coming out to scribble some notes.
Um, my father knows someone in Arif. I think I heard him say he is a Goliath. He was he was a friend of my father's mentor.
Frantically scribbling the notes.
I don't know his name, but I have not seen Goliaths in Arif, so I don't think he would be too hard to find. I think he might be somewhat famous there.
Looking for a celebrity. Do I know the word celebrity? Sorry, just it doesn't seem like a very Yvardian word. It seems very new. It
It'd
seems like
be
a recent word.
it would probably, I guess, yeah, probably not. You'd know I mean, you would know what it means in common for somebody to be famous, or, but yeah, celebrity would probably be kind of an abstract word for you in the common tongue.
Like a
Maybe we
famous
know it
scholar?
It
as
wouldn't
renown.
translate, yeah, it
It's
wouldn't
older than
translate
I thought it
perfectly.
was.
Hmm?
The word celebrity. It's older than I thought it was.
Yeah, it probably would have, if you tried to translate it to the closest thing you would have in giant, the meaning wouldn't be the same, but it would be a similar concept of somebody whose name is well known.
Yeah. Mostly just. Okay, so I'm looking for celebrity Goliath. In Aerith.
There is
Who your father knows.
a statue being made of him. If you can find the statue, it should have his name.
Yejie giggles to herself. I know that they say Goliaths are made out of stone. They don't mean it literally.
No, it's just a replica of him.
She's going to explain what's the word for phrases like that?
Colloquialism?
Like, yeah, she's going to vaguely explain that that's what she was using.
Oh.
That it is a myth or a legend of Goliaths.
I see. I'm still learning many of these.
And there's many to learn. I don't think anyone knows all of them.
Maybe. And he just goes back to work. Just he is prone to doing that where it's like in theory it could be the end of a discussion or a conversation if it were handled a little bit different, but he just kind of cuts and moves on. He's still kind of
Yeah, so
working
it's
out
not weird that Cole
the
just
social
left.
graces.
Exactly.
We
Right.
all do it.
Yeah, precisely. But most of the time, 10th does it after saying something that sounds like he very well could have had more to say. Or, like, it could have prompted. Like, it may have even sounded like he expected a response. But instead, he just leaves before one is given. He just hasn't quite figured out how to smoothly transition out of a conversation. He's pretty good at doing it coming into a conversation, but he hasn't quite figured out how to get away from one with
We're gonna
yeah.
meet his father, and it's all going to make perfect sense.
Pez, I know you know who his father is. You've
I do.
interacted with his father in another campaign. You right?
We're all gonna get to where his father is. We're gonna start talking to him and be like, oh my god. It's just like a mini me, but
So
personality
much
wise
makes
instead of
sense
looks
now.
wise.
Yeah.
So we'll be well practiced at how to handle this sort of social interaction.
Yeah, fair.
The script.
But yes. That being the case, I'd say let's go ahead and take our mid-session break. Take your
Ooh.
wellness break, do something nice for you, whatever that means. Whether that's, get up and stretch, go get a snack, go get a drink. Pez redeemed a hydrate, so I will drink some water right now. I'll do it on camera, so accountability counts.
Woo!
But go piddle, do whatever. We'll run 3 minutes of ads on stream, just because we can encourage you to just not sit here waiting too eagerly. And yeah, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Y'all do what you got to do. We'll see you then, and I assume we'll probably start getting back on the road to the surface when we return.
On the road again.
Excellent.
Is anyone else back yet? Gotcha.
Hello.
Yeah, when Pez get yeah, when Brad gets back, I want to tell her like what my thought process was. I'm so happy that happened. Yeah, emotional damage.
Wow, did you not mute us? Yeah, you didn't mute us on stream.
Oh no!
So whatever Possum's been saying.
Well, I didn't go into detail, so we're good. Chat just knows I'm happy that happened.
And of course, I muted myself. Normally, you guys are already muted on that screen, but for some reason,
I'm
well,
glad we caught that now.
yeah.
Don't worry, it's still going. Did you mute us?
Um,
I can still hear us on
yeah,
stream.
no, we're just still kind of here. I'll mute you guys so that you can discuss things privately, and I'll chat with chat for a minute.
Yeah, that would be ideal, because I do want to say a couple
Yeah,
things.
go for it. Okay. They can have their secret squirrel discussions. You guys can be stuck with me for a minute. Yeah. We're getting some insights into our characters finally. Another classical stream moment. Thank you, Bogue. Thank you. You're out of line, but you're right. Per usual, I know that's usually how you prefer to live your life. It do be like that though. That said, I did a poll in the Discord, I think it was last week, and I let it sit for about a week to see what y'all would want me to play when I come back on stream and do a Let's Play next. Because I'm back in the place where I want to do that. I'm ready mentally, emotionally, time-wise. I should have the time. Uh, Probably not to be super regular with a Let's Play stream, but to be able to squeeze one in every now and then. It probably wouldn't be more than a day or two's notice. But the vote was up for a week, and the winner has been officially tallied and counted. I'll come back playing the Mortuary Assistant, which is a horror game. I've mentioned possibly playing it pretty much since it came out a couple years ago, and you guys have seemed pretty interested in watching me do that because y'all enjoy tuning in to watch me be miserable playing horror games. But if that's what you want to see, I'll play it. I don't really play horror games outside of stream. I usually just watch other people play them and get to do what you do and enjoy it while watching someone else go through all the terror. But I'll do it for you guys. So I'm not sure when that's gonna be, uh, but uh, there's a small likelihood, incredibly small likelihood, I might be able to squeeze it in tomorrow, but probably next Thursday, I would think. Um, I should be able to do that. And that'll be a lot of fun. We can just hang out. It's not an online, live, real-time game, so I can pause and interact with you guys a lot more regularly than I'm able to do in the middle of the D&D sessions. So, yeah, I've been looking forward to that. I'm pretty stoked. Um, if you bear with me, I'm going to be mildly distracted for a moment because I need to add something to uh, I need to add a couple things onto one of the maps they might get to tonight because I thought I had done that and apparently not. But yes, Bogue, we do need to do some Schedule 1. That is not a thing I've forgotten, and I am very excited to do that. It'll be a lot of fun. I haven't done Schedule 1 on stream. I wasn't certain if I was gonna, just because, you know, I try and have a certain atmosphere and attitude to the stream of not doing certain things, and it's very much I toe the line of I'm not sure if I want to be encouraging people to actually go do these things, but you know what? It's a game, and I enjoy playing it. I also don't encourage people to go out on adventures stealing artifacts like a wannabe Indiana Jones and getting into fights with wild creatures and, you know, but we do them here because we can pretend to do it and it's a safe place to pretend to do it. So, sure, we'll do some Schedule 1 sometime, Bogue. It'll be a good time. I am excited about it. Let's see. I need to add this thing. Okay, they're not super accurate, but because I had forgotten. Oh, I'm pressing every wrong button as I am wont to do. Hoban, dude, why are you clawing everything in existence? Sorry, Hoban's being a turd. He was being so cute and sweet earlier, but no longer. Bum, bum. Okay. Oh, good God. That's not what I needed. Also, the snippets I can hear across the room of their conversation, their secret squirrel conversation, is mildly disconcerting, but that's okay. We're gonna go find out what's going on with them. Yeah, Schedule 1 has brought back some good old memories. I'm sure they have, Bogue. I'm sure they have. It's been a silly time. I guess I don't know if we would start in the middle of a game or start a new game for stream, but we'll figure that out another time. But let's get back to the task at hand and see what happens when they get back on the road.
To work that into what happened.
Nemo doesn't go
I hoping.
straight for the punch, you know?
Nah,
She doesn't go straight for the jugular. She
I was gonna say
tears
she
you
walks up
slowly
and
She
apart.
toys.
slaps you
She
across the
toys
face.
with her prey before the killing blow.
Well, sorry, I have a cat.
Fair. All right, everybody good? Settled in? You guys had your secret squirrel conversations? I find that phrase increasingly difficult to say as an adult. I don't know
Crit
why.
squirrel.
What makes
See, I keep wanting to say secret squirrel because when I was young, I had a speech impediment where I couldn't say R, so I had to say it like we had a babysitter named Barb, and I kind of got teased into pronouncing her name correctly over the course of years because I kept calling her Bob.
So, fun fact,
Oof.
kind of like when people have trouble saying S's, that
Mhm.
condition is called a lisp.
Yes,
People who have the trouble with those R's, that condition is called rhoticism.
because it's
Yeah,
a
there you
yep,
go.
because it's a
that
rhotic
you have to
R.
pronounce the word?
Yep,
Exactly.
that
So it's
form of
like you
R is a
struggle saying
rhotic
what the
R.
condition is.
I
Yep, it's
I did not know that.
whoticism.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like dyslexia, the cruelest word for somebody dyslexic to try and have to spell or like
No, the
conceptualize the spelling
doctor,
of.
the doctor said you have daily sex.
Okay. Well, bye, Bogue.
This cat is
Thanks for
heavy.
tuning in. Bogue's
Bye.
leaving for the night, y'all.
Hi, Bogue.
Get the
Um,
fuck
Bye.
out of here, Bogue.
um, but yes, so everybody had their conversations. We'll assume any parting farewells get made, and you
Yeah,
guys.
and just one of the things that Cole would
Yeah.
just want to verify is that they had a plan should enemies pop up again, so they can get out of here.
Oh,
It's as far as 10th and pressure getting out of here.
Yes.
It's basically they're going to follow you guys as fast as they can and hope that 10th's guard drakes that you guys are about to exit near will buy them enough time to get out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I'm not sure if you quite remember this from when you came down the first time, but 10th and pressure didn't get here along the same route you did. They apparently know
no.
some other way to get here, and they didn't say what it was. But
I
it
don't know if we
sounds
ever addressed that.
you absolutely did not.
Nope.
But it
Yeah.
We just took
sounds
it at face
like
value.
yep, it sounds like if there is a need to get out of here in a hurry, the way you guys went is probably faster. Because they said they would follow your way.
Gotcha.
You can take her away.
Nice. Okay. But yeah, you guys are able to, well, you would in theory be able to. Hold on, let me
Let us out.
Yeah, let me get you out of here.
Let me out. Let me out. This is not a dance.
Oh my. Oh my goodness. Y'all are something.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, if you hold your token still, I will get you moved. Pez.
I was gonna
Would you
say
like me
she's the
closer to
only
everyone
one
else?
moving it. I
Okay.
was gonna say Nemo and I are standing perfectly still.
Okay.
I was looking
It's
at
okay,
something
he
else.
dropped me inside of a rock for my transgression.
Yes, that was exactly it. But yes, you guys end up heading out. 10th will let you out. There is a door over here. 10th will let you out that door. It is locked from this side, and he will lock it behind you. But you get out here, and
Gotcha.
those blue guard drakes are up here, and they do watch you come out and just observe. They're both kind of laying down in a fairly relaxed position. Ron will definitely walk back over and make sure they don't give you guys any grief.
As we walk by, Cole's gonna turn to Nemo. What?
You ask me one more time, I'm going to kick you.
He's gonna just kind of shift his head and just keep walking. He's not pressing his luck right now.
Fair enough, fair enough. If you guys remember, I'm not sure if you do, but we don't, for some reason the map over there is looking a little wonky anyway. But basically, let me get out my ruler. In order to get out of here, you turn in here, and there's the rope you had to climb down from the large cavern up above that had the river and the bridge and the goblins. That's what is directly above you. So,
Yeje is going to muse about the fact of, I wonder if they lay eggs as we walk by the drakes.
That look at me with the like turn over to the like, oh.
I mean, Tenth said these ones were created, so I don't think they came from an egg, but like leans to try to see if there's anything on the undercarriage of the drake.
See that?
Just kind of like trying to see under their tail a little bit. Like, do they even have reproductive
Rude.
organs? Is it just a cloaca, so I won't be able to tell anyway?
probably that.
Stop trying to look up the skirts.
Yeah, and cloacas on reptiles, if they are indeed reptilian, tend to be very closed, so you might even have trouble locating it.
Unless they have like the other little sub organs.
Some of them kind of have like a sort of a, I forget the word. I probably am misremembering anyway, so irrelevant. Um, but yeah, the way they're laying down, you wouldn't really be able to see unless you got them to stand up.
Oh no, I'm not gonna bug them that much. I'm just nosy.
Fair enough. Um, but yeah, you find your way out. You climb up your rope. You should be on the new map. And
Yep.
this is back in the chasm that is incredibly loud with this river rushing underneath. This is the same river that just a few moments ago Cole was breaking down sobbing by when Nemo asked him if he liked cats. um, but so in order to get out of here, if you come back up and around, hold on, get my measuring tools because that's the easiest. If you were to come back up and around this way is the way out. The goblins are up ahead and to the left, down in here. If you wanted to ignore the goblins and just leave, you absolutely could.
Hell nah.
I kind of thought you might not.
Gonna go say hi to the buddies.
Okay.
Oh
Let
yeah,
'em
we're
know we're heading
carpooling
out.
now.
We're carp.
Yeah, at this point, we got an entire conga line. That's gonna be us and Gabos and Tenth and Pressure.
A Yejier, would you have carried those bigger pieces with you, or would you have Ron take them, just so I'm aware logistically of where they lie?
Maybe try to split them up.
There's only a few, so that that'd be pretty easy to do.
Yeah. With any that are like a little longer or something, she'd probably take just because she has the height that it won't bother her quite as much.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah. You start coming back down here, and things are pretty much as you remember. The goblins are still in the same little cavern. They have their one lit brazier. One of them has a sword, the one that's in charge. Um,
Should have brought some Darkling daggers for him.
that's right, that's his name. Odgurk was the name of their leader. And they appear like they've been hunting or salvaging something because they're actually cooking meat over the brazier as you come in. And they seem pretty pleased. One of them has kind of improvised a little drum and is just like casually playing a little bit of music. Not like it's a party or a ritual or a festival or anything, but just
Stimmin'?
yeah, stimming a little bit, just trying to get over the fact that they feel like they're stuck here in a situation that they need help out of. So as you guys walk in, they perk up and immediately start chattering and pointing and sort of scurrying about. And Odgurk steps through and has to kind of like shove a couple of them out of the way to get close. But he comes up and gives a Yejier um, the same sort of. I'm blanking on it off the top of my head, but there is a particular greeting you would have gotten in Goblinoid custom that wasn't the same uh, facial gesture that you had showed him when you left. That's the sign of respect. I just am blanking on that aspect of the culture, though I know what it is. I think I described it last time. But you'd be shown a respectful and enthusiastic hello, and
Yeah.
yeah, and he'd walk over and first things first, beckon to the brazier and say, "Are you hungry? You may eat. If you still wish to help us, you can eat."
We're in quite a rush to get to the surface, I believe. Because we ate not that long ago. It didn't take long to get up here from tents.
Oh no, it's like the
Yeah.
climb probably took more time than the walk.
Yeah,
We've just eaten in the cavern below. But if you need to take food with you, we are leaving. If you still want to come with us.
Yes, we've been waiting for you. Well,
What are they cooking?
My friend wants to know what you have managed to find for yourself to eat.
some of it is large cave bats. The other one is some sort of insect. I don't entirely know. We found it right after it was killed.
Asia contemplates lying to Nemo about saying it's like veal or something, but ultimately decides to tell her the truth that it is large bats and some sort of bug.
For what it's worth, it looks and smells surprisingly good. Especially since you guys have been eating nothing but travel rations for like a week.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, she's a little sad. So Will that stuff start to
would-
look good to her?
To
Probably.
say, if you'd like some, they've offered some to us.
Cole, kneel down by the fire and try a little bit of each. He'll also point at the fire and kind of like wave at the children a minute, and then, like he did before, he's gonna cast Control Flames. However, this time he knows what a Myconid looks like. So he's gonna make the shape of the one that they met with the
The Rothe?
I'm trying to blank on the cattle's name.
Yeah, the Rothe? Yeah,
With the
the Myconid
Rothes.
rancher.
Yep. So I'll have a shape of the Myconid and the Rothe that he'll turn the flames into.
Mushroom Man! Mushroom
Yep. And then he's gonna smile and go, yeah.
One of them points to the image you've created of the Hellfire Rothe, and then points to one of the pieces of meat and shakes their head very emphatically to make sure you know that is not what this food is.
Cole nod and put his hand up, just kind of yeah. That's fair.
But you do try some of the food?
Yeah.
To your surprise, the food is actually spiced.
Mm.
It isn't just straight meat. The one that, knowing what both kinds of meat are, it would probably be the bat, would be your guess. That one actually tastes like it's been lightly salted.
Wow.
The insect meat is weirdly kind of spicy.
So after trying a bit of both,
Oh,
he's gonna
thank you,
point
guys.
at them. These are both worth trying.
Yep,
Little-
Eva was waiting for that. She was doing the whole monkey see, monkey do.
Yep. The insect has some kick to it.
Oh my god,
And
Cole's
if-
white. He's like, oh, they use both spices, salt and pepper. Oh, it's spicy.
Well, I was hoping it was like a leg, so he could make a pun with it as well. But yeah,
Okay, she's gonna be on the wall.
but white people can't handle spice. What about this, sweetie? Flour.
Mayonnaise.
For what it's worth, it's a little more spicy than like black pepper. It's more like red pepper flake, generously applied spicy. But you don't see any seasonings on it. So maybe it's naturally seasoned. Maybe it's just a spicy meat.
Ants have a very unique flavor, so it doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me that you know this. I don't know, that's one thing. For all my love of great apes as a child, as an adult, I've never tried to fish ants out of a mound and eat them.
What about termites
I've never
Casual.
encountered any in great enough numbers,
that you
I
know
think.
of?
I've never been in a termite infested house that
That
I
you
knew
know
of.
of.
That I knew of. Even if it wasn't my house, if I knew they were there, honestly, as a kid, I probably would have tried it. As an adult, I would have seriously considered it. Probably wouldn't have tried it, but I would have considered it. For those who don't know, as a kid, I was obsessed with chimpanzees and gorillas. I know that that's come up a few times in some of the previous like game streams, but I don't walk if I'm like crawling on all fours on the ground on my hands and knees. I don't walk with my palms flat on the floor. That is physically uncomfortable for me because I never developed the muscles and the mobility range to do that. I knuckle walk if I'm down on all fours because as a kid I pretended to be a
his second
chimpanzee.
knuckle.
Yeah.
As nature intended.
Yeah.
Because we watched
Uh,
Tarzan, and that was formative.
Amen.
And he said as a child he was obsessed. He's only slightly less obsessed
I
now.
did recently go on a Nat Geo documentary about apes kick on Disney Plus 2 weeks ago.
And anytime we go to a zoo, we spend at least like 30 minutes watching the apes if they have them.
Yeah, they make me happy.
I mean, that's not just a you thing. I also do it.
Yeah.
I'm also there.
um,
But anyway, Yejige still would not eat any. Her thought process is she doesn't know the last time all these people ate. And also, she's not very hungry.
that's fair.
As far as she knows, it's not an insult to the culture.
No, generally not. If he insisted, it would be. If this were a festival, it probably would be. But this just seems like it's an uncommonly exciting meal for them. So they offer to share. They mean it. They intend to share. If any, excuse me, if anybody wishes to partake. But yeah, Cole and Nemo, you guys would be given some food, and the youngins would be excited and just kind of scurrying around you. The one would keep playing the little improvised drum. It honestly looks like it's on a weirdly hollowed out tube from a stalagmite or a stalactite that they've just kind of drawn some fabric over real tight on both ends, and that's their improvised drum.
Hmm.
But so while they're doing that, Odgurk will turn to Ayegie. So did you find the crystal lake? What you were looking for?
We did. It didn't all go according to our hopes. But we made it out alive, though not with what we were looking for. We found what we were looking for, but it was taken from us.
Well, making it out alive from down there is no small feat. That is enough to be grateful for. And that is very much a perspective in goblinoid culture that Ayegie would know, just getting
She
out
gives a
alive.
so it goes shrug.
Yeah. Very just, things may have gone to shit, but I came out alive, so that's still in a way its own win. But if you would like to leave in a hurry whenever you would like to leave, we will follow.
Yegie relays this to the group. She knows Ron is eager to get out, and she knows that Nemo is literally counting the days.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Like down to the point she's counting the hours now.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, how long do you guys want to spend eating food with them? If Nemo's down counting the hours.
How close are we to?
You'd probably make it up within an hour or two. You're fairly close to
Oh.
the surface now.
Yeah, we are really heckin' close.
Yeah.
Then we just pack it up and pack up kids and
I don't
Yeah.
think they have very much to pack, so.
No, what you see on the map is pretty much what they have except
Yeah.
for the food.
oh.
Yeah, that's what Yegie kind of assumed here was they're wearing it,
Yep.
and if they're not wearing it, it's cooking on that fire.
Yep. They have honestly, Oddkirk's sword and that stalactite drum is those are the two most valuable things in this room before you guys walked in.
Let's not forget the flask.
Oh, Carl, thank you very much. Carl just subscribed for 3 months in a row.
Ooh.
Thank you, Carl. It means a ton.
Yee.
Sorry. Could you say again, Possum?
I said let's not forget that the flask is also
that's
present.
true. That's true. That is honestly probably the most valuable thing in the room.
There you
And
go.
whatever
Before
other
you guys
little
walked in.
knickknacks we gave them like a necklace and
A necklace
an egg.
and I guess yeah, you guys did give them an egg
A
and
chunk of
Some
onyx.
trinkets.
some trinkets that were worth some money. I did forget about those.
But still, they're already packed.
Yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
already packed. You'd be able to see all the trinkets and like jewelry that could potentially be cut or melted down, like hack silver. You'd be able to see pretty much all of it that you gifted them being worn by somebody in the room. Odgurk would have most of it, but not all of it. As their leader, that's just kind of his right to get to wear any of that stuff he wanted before anybody else in goblinoid culture. But anything he doesn't keep, he shares. So yeah, whatever time frame you guys want to spend here with them. As Hoban walks on me around dinner time and gets bamboozled into cat
It's
cam.
13 minutes to dinner.
It is 13 minutes to dinner. Oh. He evaded the camera. I tried. But yes, whatever time frame you guys would like, you can stay put. If it's, I would assume probably 15 minutes or less, honestly.
Yeah.
This guy, he's on the camera. Oh, there he is. Then yeah, you'll be able to start your journey and they will follow you. They are not a particularly quiet group at the outset, but as soon as you leave that cavern, they make very little noise.
Aw. Yeah.
I was distracted by Hoban being just a baby.
Yeah, he's just a baby. And also Carl
Just
is
a baby.
playing with the subscriber emotes, which all courtesy of Rad, if you did not remember Carl. Rad made all of those images, and the fancy effects are just things on Twitch that we can do when we upload Rad's images. But yeah. So as I said, you guys are they're great, and I will use them constantly. Yes, they are great. Rad did a wonderful job. You guys are not super far from the surface. Like, unless something went horribly, horribly wrong, like atrociously wrong, you would reasonably expect to be able to get out of here very quickly. And especially since you guys did a pretty good job, whether or not you actually remember the layout of these caverns, you did a very good job exploring every seemingly apparent path that you could find. So there probably wouldn't be a great urge to take any routes that aren't just the most effective way to the exit, which would definitely save time heading back up.
Especially because we know the item we're looking for is no longer here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair point. Fair point. In that case, yeah, it would take you. Oh, let's see. Do some quick estimations here.
Quick maths.
Yeah, quick maths. Not always my forte. Honestly, at this point, trying to get out of here deliberately, not going off to explore side tunnels or paths you've already seen, you'd probably get out of there in under an hour.
Even accounting for short legs.
Yes.
Not talking about Nemo.
I know.
Yes. The thing about those short legs is they seem pretty well equipped to move many times in order to keep up with you guys. Like, before they got there, they were in pretty good shape for traveling through the caverns. But yeah, you get back through and you start recognizing some of these ruined old rooms that had been picked through by the explorers before you, who had come down below, until you see the stairs. And you look up through the stairs, and it's dark outside. But you can see the stars in the sky as you ascend back up to the surface and feel the world open up above you with every step as you finally remove yourselves from the caverns and confines and dangers of the Everdark, and you once again step foot into, even though it's not what's on the map, the golden grasses of the Fringe. And when you do, things are much as you left them. Sorry, Nemo, it's your old token. I forgot to change it, but it's still you.
Mm.
There's still several guards up here that stop you as you guys get up here. There's still a dog that is lazily just hanging out on a chain nearby. There's another guard down here, kind of off shift, that's sleeping next to a fire. But there are 3 other figures that weren't here last time. One of them is a half elf, male, who looks entirely unimpressed to see you guys coming up. Just looks impatient and angry. There is a brass dragonborn, and then there is a drow, who exactly matches the description of the contact you were supposed to meet.
The Twitch map once again does not want to update.
Oh, crap, my bad. And the half-elf and the dragonborn don't seem relieved to see you necessarily. They're not. They seem more like it's about time, whereas the drow seems in a better mood. But before you can interact with them, the guards stop you and say, "Okay, hold on. They've been waiting here for you for a while, but we still have to do our thing before you talk to anybody else." And one of them goes over to a pack and pulls out a book, like a thick, hard-backed, large, leather-bound book, and cracks it open and sets it on one of the piles of ruined rubble nearby that they've sort of crudely made into a table or a desk, roughly that height, and just plops it on there. And they pull out something, I guess, Cole and Nemo, you guys would have seen these. A Yejier, I guess, yeah, all 3 of you would have seen these, but they're a fairly new technology in the world. Even though it's a small thing, it's a big deal when the world is on medieval technology. Pulls out a fountain pen, where it has the ink contained inside, so you don't have to have a quill or a dry pen and dip it into an inkwell before you write. Like, that's an exciting new technology from the last few years in the world, and they're super expensive.
The Yejier sees him about to start writing without dipping it into ink. Ha! That stupid, stupid person. It starts writing. Shocked Pikachu face.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just like, holy shit!
Yeah, pretty much. Weak in-game caverns and caves will surely harm the eyes when coming back. That's true, Carl, that's true. It is nighttime, though, so it's an easier transition, and they all have dark vision, so they're all intrinsically a little bit better able to handle that transition. But it is a fair point. That is something that a previous campaign had to deal with a little bit. But, yeah. Still nighttime.
ESGA still sees, or no, still, ESGA sees no reason to not tell this person what she has in her various bags.
They will insist on seeing the things you guys brought back. It's all yours, but they want to see it.
It's gonna be just like one of those like comedy skits of like, no, the weapon, all the weapons, and she's just gonna keep pulling out fucking mushroom samples.
Yeah, or like somebody check all your weapons at the door, and one of Pez's previous characters canonically carried no less than
14.
22 daggers on her at one point.
She lowered it to 14 because daggers have weight.
At one point, though, that was her standard loadout.
No, her minimum was like 11.
Okay.
But she tended to stick 14. She had 22 or 24 at the most.
Yeah, and most of them were hidden, weapons, so she could try and keep them if she wanted, but if she ever genuinely stopped to check her weapons at the door, that's exactly what it was her just going shink, 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 shink out of
Taking a
pieces
step
of her
away,
garments that
finger up.
shouldn't have.
Going back, taking another one out of her boot.
Takes 2 steps away. Oh yeah, right, forgot. Had to start walking to feel another one in her pant leg or something. Yeah, no, it was absolutely wild. But yes, they will want to do a full and proper visual inventory of everything you guys grabbed. So it'll take a minute. But your contact is
AFA
still
doesn't have
here.
any issue with that.
Yeah. Bag of holding just pukes out 50 plus mushroom caps in the sarcophagus juice. Something like that, yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
I have a jar of snail slime. I have some fungus. Oh, this is some more fungus. Here's some moss. Oh, here's a snail flail.
Part of a shell,
And-
anyways.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, "Do you want to see the stuff I went in with too?
Mm.
It's all kind of mixed together in here."
No, just what you brought back. Overall,
Takes out
this
one
would
piece of
probably
10th
take
sibling, takes out another piece of 10th sibling, and another piece of 10th sibling.
So
at least for the containers, they'll want to at least open them up and peek inside. You
Yeah,
won't have to
so-
pull every item out.
Cole would like to just like set all the stuff he had on him in a pile, and then see if he could go talk to the contact.
As soon as you try, the guards will stop you and go, no, 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 nope, no contact until this is done.
I just imagine Cole like literally stripping down to nothing, being like, "I'm obviously not carrying anything now."
That's what he's trying to do. Like
He's like,
this
"How
is all
much
part-
clothing do I have to
yeah.
take off for TSA?"
Like this is all part of one group. Just want to update them, but okay.
No, you could hand
Yejie
something
will
off and
also
smuggle
warn
it out.
them. Well, we'll also be like, "Oh, and we're bringing up, was it 7 goblins?
I believe it was.
8, 7.
I'll go check.
It was 7 or 8.
And a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would know the number. I want to say it might be 6.
And she'll actually say, "We're bringing up." I don't remember the head goblin's name. You literally just said it.
Odgurk.
Odgurk. We're bringing up Odgurk and his people. And she won't elaborate further than that at first. But I'm assuming they will ask her to elaborate.
Pretty much, yeah. And that is. I assume that's a what?
Nemo pipes up from the back.
Were
So
you looking
that's
at
his
them, like-
name.
I guess I don't know the name of a group of goblins. I was just gonna call them a troop.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know that I've canonically come up with one for Evard, but I like a
Collective
troop.
noun of goblins. I'm bringing up a collective noun of goblins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like troop. A troop of
Okay.
goblins.
A troop of goblins that were trapped by the wildlife in the caves.
Wait, so you brought living creatures too?
I mean,
Do we have a protocol for that?
I didn't really bring them. They're just exiting the cave.
Can they
They're
do
people.
that?
We just helped escort these people.
We've never had people come out of here that didn't go in.
They got in. They went in. You know there's more than one entrance, right?
There is.
And now they want to come out.
There's at least 3 other entrances, I think. At very least 2 other.
Oh.
We didn't find them. But we found people down there.
Oh.
It's a...
Uh.
Have you been down there?
No. I don't have a permit. Those permits are
It's
expensive,
like a
man.
whole ecosystem. Like, would you go into a mountain pass and expect there to be only one entrance and exit?
I don't know. I've never been to the Crown.
Would you enter a swamp and expect there to be only one entrance and exit? A cove?
Cole's just kind of pinching the bridge of his nose.
She's trying to get this
You're
metaphor to land.
referencing geographic features when most of the people in this area used to be sailors down south where none of these geographic features are a thing. A cove is the first one you mention that they can relate to. Oh, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose. Really, it
So, yeah.
sounds. The other one pipes up. Really, it sounds more like an archipelago then.
Exactly. Yeah, having never been to an archipelago. Exactly. He gets it. What's your name? Do you have a supervisor?
Stop it, Karen.
Just the Earl.
Okay, I'm gonna tell him that you're a guy who gets it.
Actually, we do get uh we do get feedback reports from when you get back into town. They'll ask you if you thought what you thought of the process, because we're still kind of figuring this shit out. Uh, so that'd be helpful. Dude, shut up, man! And he slaps him on the arm. Just do your fucking job, ambitious little asshole. No, okay, no, we don't know what to do for this. So just bring them up. Yeah, bring them up. If it was dangerous down there, they're fleeing. We
Do any of you
understand
speak
refugee
Goblin?
status, so
Because they don't speak common.
Just like okay, making it be like a TSA's worst nightmare.
Customs. I'm declaring 8 living creatures.
Yevardsaga coming into customs going, here's everything wrong with your system because I am making it the thing you deal with now. I'm finding every hole in your customs process. But well, we have a policy on refugees that the Earl talked about. So if they were trapped by wildlife, they might qualify for refugee status. We can figure out a language barrier
I'll
measure.
translate what I need to while I'm here. And she'll tell them to come up. As she lets someone else continue searching her 15,000 vials.
of sample material.
What's that?
Well, hey,
A
doesn't
mushroom?
Damu?
What's that? A mushroom?
Does Damu know Goblin? I don't fucking know, man. Go, send him to the whale. Send him to the whale. Damu will at least feed him. Uh, I assume they're probably not bringing up much if they're refugees. So, I guess
Correct.
we should probably see
Not
what
even
they
a bindle.
have. We should probably see what they have just to make a note. If we get in trouble for this, at least we did that part of our job, right? Yeah, go ahead, have them come up. We'll see their stuff, and they can just go into town and go to the whale.
ASGA will help with that process.
Yeah, just
with language barriers and all.
in case you guys forgot, the whale would be the local tavern where you met Yvelda. The Blubbering Whale is the name of the local tavern. Damu being the turtle barkeeper. But yeah, you guys can go through that whole process. You'll be there for like 2 hours going through everything. They try to like improvise some questions for the goblins to kind of seem like they know what they're doing. Yes. Yes, Bez?
Okay. I was just gonna say, ASGA will let Cole and or Nemo go first since they're carrying significantly less if they'll let the group split up like that.
They will not.
Okay, we're a party of all of us, I guess, so
Yep. That is how they view this. You guys, your permit was for your group, and so that's how they search you and take inventory of your haul. And again, they at no point give the impression they're trying to like take or confiscate or keep anything. They're just trying to preserve what the ruins have produced for some sort of record.
I forgot ASGA has a light box. I'm not sure I have that written down on here.
Oh yeah, you might want to add that you have the projector.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not on my sheet.
I don't know. But you will notice as time goes on, even the drow seems to be in less of a good mood. Particularly once you guys start getting down to your last few things that they haven't
Oh,
that you haven't
yeah.
They haven't
declared.
seen what they
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
They don't even know what they're looking for.
They know there's a box.
I have a box, it just happens to have lights.
Yeah, you have nothing that vaguely matches the description of the container you were sent to retrieve.
Yep.
And they seem to have noticed that.
Yep.
So
Cole's gonna glance at the drow and just gonna shake his head in disappointment.
yeah, all three of your contact and his party seem to be
Vastly disappointed.
yeah, pretty disappointed. The drow still doesn't seem to be angry necessarily, impatient and frustrated, but not necessarily like directed at you guys. The other two seem like they just want to be done but with whatever they have to do with you and just move
Hmm.
on. But eventually you finish your customs check, everything will get noted unless I was assuming you guys weren't going to try to hide anything you found.
Nope, that's more trouble than it's worth.
Okay. Good call.
You're gonna show them your new best friend? Your pen pal?
You can look at my dirty books.
um Oh yeah, I forgot, Cole. You could have been reading that as a bedtime story the last few nights, going through
Can we say I have been?
it. If you guys, unless somebody would stop him, yeah, Cole could be reading mediocre, goodness knows how old smut book at you guys as a bedtime story.
Fun.
Something tells me he would do it even if somebody didn't want him to.
Probably.
Yeah.
I can only
Because
assume is really good at tuning things out.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair assumption. Knowing knowing her early life and environment she grew up in, yeah, I think that's fair. Um, that said, you will eventually be dismissed after about 2 hours of your customs process. Because they will ask some questions besides just like seeing and describing, like, is this a magic item? If so, does it require attunement? Where did you find this? They will actually, ask about some vague details about your samples. Um, they do seem to be trying to keep track of more ecological aspects of retrieved items too. So I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but the institution here in town that actually like cares about recording this stuff, they've apparently taught these guys and convinced them decently to take everything seriously. So it'd be pretty easy in a lot of places to ask about weapons, magic items, and leave it at that. But no, these guys are diligent. They really seem to care about doing their job properly. But
But they want to
eventually,
hear about the fauna we came across as well.
they don't ask about it. If you tell them about it, they would probably follow up with a few questions, but they're not quite so worried about the things you found down there that are staying down there. They're mostly just worried about what's coming back up with you.
Gotcha.
Yejiye, you're interpreting for Odgurk and his troop. Doesn't take super long. Mostly they're asking. I guess that's the closest thing they ask about any of the circumstances down there, not just the materials that you're bringing back up. Is they will ask Odgurk like, why are you coming up here? Like, what were the conditions that drove you out? Very much from a lens of, is it something that could come up here? Should we be concerned? Is there a security threat for the surface based on the stuff you guys were fleeing? And Odgurk seems convinced that there shouldn't be. Is mostly just it got a little too spicy with the natural wildlife down there and stuff that he doesn't imagine would have any reason to be up here. And they seem content enough with that. And they say, all right, Now go get those fucking assholes out of our hair. You're dismissed.
And Cole will immediately nod and walk over to talk with these guys.
Yeah. Are the goblins gonna hang out for a minute while
They
waiting for the group?
they were told that they could go get food at the tavern.
Yep.
Fair.
They're pretty excited to go, and Odgurk feels comfortable enough going that unless you think it's a bad idea, they were probably going to go. So they'll scurry off in the direction of town once you tell them where to go.
And Diageo will make sure to tell them. She's gonna write a note. Actually, she's gonna ask the guard for a piece of paper and a pen. She has her own, but she's gonna use his. She wants to use the fountain pen.
Is she gonna try and steal it?
That's an inspiration. You deserve an inspiration for that. My gosh. Yeah.
She's gonna ask to borrow so that she can write a note, essentially, because she'll tell Odgurk, like, there's a chance they won't speak a language that you understand, and they won't be able to understand you. I don't know for certain, but there's a chance. So I'm writing down the situation so that you can show people.
Fair enough. Yeah. No. That's a very good idea. I mean, that's also bundled up in the justification for an inspiration for you. That's a very good idea.
She's low key like, I wonder if I can like this for my egg decorating. Instead of writing with ink, write with fountain pen on egg.
um. So they scurry off in the direction of town, and as you start walking over towards your contact and his party, um, they the drow definitely seems to be the one in charge. Um, and they kind of motion with their head to walk further away.
Yo, I was about to do the same.
So they'll pull you way up over here towards the corner of the map. Except my tokens are being a little silly. Those two are going to swap places. Despite what their tokens look like, the half-elf is armed and armored. The Dragonborn token definitely looks armed with a pole arm, and they are. The drow is carrying a thin sword. It's hard to tell if it's more of a scimitar or a rapier, possibly somewhere in between, but they don't look super heavily armored. But they do have. He does have the cloak that was described to you as really the defining feature. And you guys get settled in this position. He looks around to make sure that you are satisfyingly out of earshot for the guards. I cannot help but see that you've come back empty-handed. Tell me why.
In regular common.
In regular common.
Okay.
And that's where we'll
Sorry,
leave it until next session.
I was
need you
gonna
all to
say,
know.
for the love of everything, Yvardsaga, let Cole talk first.
I know. I was gonna say, I need you to know, if I were the other character I played for a decade, immediately it would have been, well, obviously not, or else that check would have been a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But Ieshier is not Adriana, as it turns out.
Which is
Yet.
helpful.
Which is helpful. She's helpful.
I don't need to wake up dead, okay?
You're a pact member. You'd wake up harmed and being questioned for information.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess what era of Adriana are we talking?
Yeah.
Because that matters a lot.
You'd wake up next to her dead body.
Or I don't wake up.
Or that. She wakes up
Or
next to your dead
Adriana
body.
wakes up next to my dead body.
I guess she was an Eldrin. She never really went to sleep. She untrances next to your body.
There we go.
She could kill you in her sleep,
Trance
probably because she
scrub.
doesn't sleep. She just trances and oops, dropped a knife. My bad.
But yeah, that was immediately the first thought that came to my mind, and I went, wait, I have to remember what character I am. Remember who you are.
We'll repeat that and chant that to ourselves as we come back to continue this meeting next week. But that said, congratulations, guys. You made it back to the surface. Your contact was still here. So at least that concern's over with. Now you just get to get through shit with them.
Mhm.
And we'll see how that goes.
Well, it's the nice thing is they can't be too entirely pissed off because they didn't even know if it was really going to be down there.
One would think. One would think.
At
Yeah,
least
we'll
they
do-
told us they didn't know.
Yeah.
I
We'll
have a
deal with
question,
that.
though.
Yes?
Does that drow look familiar?
That drow does not look familiar.
Cool.
How many fingers does he have on his right hand?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? All right. Chat says Combat Carl's guess is 300 gold pieces for the lot. That's that, Carl. That's your guess as to what they get paid
For the loot.
for the loot and all. My father was slain by the six-fingered man. Exactly. We'll see if this dude's got six fingers or not. Yvelda had six fingers. I don't know if you guys remember, but the
Nemo does.
I did.
I remember.
yeah, the half-orc woman who hired them has six fingers on each hand. She is polydactyl.
I thought that was just. Oh no, I'm thinking of the
Maybe Vectors?
No, I got confused with the prosthetic we found. That's a left-handed polydactyl.
It is. It
But yeah,
is indeed.
until
Yeah,
next.
next week. Next week is the
Thanks,
plan. Same time,
everybody.
same place. Back to our regular schedule. We will be next week is good, but the week after that, I will be on a road trip, so we will not play. What Wednesday is that? The 21st, but I'll be back for the 28th.
Okay.
Abandoning me.
Yeah, only for a little bit. I'm going on a trip with the boys, and by the boys,
Going
it's like
to
two
the
dudes.
chapel and he's gonna get married.
I
Not
thought he already was.
not quite, but I mean, maybe the other two. One of them's already married, but it wouldn't surprise me honestly. They're a wild group. No, we're going on a road trip to Gettysburg. He's gonna take me to go see the Gettysburg battle site for Memorial Day
Ooh,
weekend because he's a big Civil War buff and I've never been.
nice.
So yeah, that'll be fun. I'll try and take pictures and put them in the Discord for y'all if anybody's interested, since some of y'all like seeing me and Bogue's history photos. But anyways, that's me rambling. You guys go have a good rest of your Wednesday. Have a good evening. Do some more wellness. Keep on top of it. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
Woo.
Wolf. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Good
Toodles.
night.
Bye-bye. Wahoo! We did it. They made it back. It's only been what, 18, almost 20 sessions, but we made it. And now we get to see what's in store for what their employer slash client, whoever this person is, what they make of their story and what comes of that. What will happen after this interaction? What will become of our group as they were brought together to do this job? Will they split off and go back home and go live their separate lives? Will they have developed any amount of camaraderie and teamwork enough they might want to continue to work together? I don't know. We'll have to see. It's all up in the air. You never know what's going to happen in D&D. Professional spelunkers. That's true, Carl. That's a good point. They could stay here and essentially do what Ron does and just hire out services exploring down there to try and find more answers. Because they certainly earned a lot of questions. So, I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do next. But we'll find out next week, same time, same place. Like I said, sometime soon we'll do Mortuary Assistant on a Let's Play, and I intend to play through the whole thing, not in one stream, but to play through the whole game on stream with you guys. I just can't guarantee it'll be super regular. A coffin juice barista bar. Hey, who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs in the village of Darbiton, so maybe they find out how to bring up some coffin juice. There's got to be a market. That's true, Pez. You right. You right. But y'all take care. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week. Do some wellness. Millie still knows. Okay? Millie's always watching. Y'all know how important it is. So, I was trying to find something better to leave on, but I can't think of it. My brain's too tired. So, be well, friends. Take care. Tune in next time and stay tuned. There will be more to follow.